Now we're getting into campaigns launching on the 5th, and the first one we have is Mythwind, and this plays 1 to 4 players and takes as long to play as you want it to. And this is an open-ended game where players are taking on the roles of pioneers trying to establish a new community in a whimsical fantasy world. And this one is our Discord pick of the week, and I'm not surprised because this one is offering some really cool, innovative, and unique ideas that I haven't seen in any other board games. And this is a cooperative game that's shaped by the decisions that the players make, and those decisions are going to be remembered because each time you play the game, the state that you end up in is the same state that you're going to be starting with the next time you pull the game off the shelf. And this game innovates in a particular way that might be a little bit of a shock to some players, but this game actually has no win condition. If you've ever played games like Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley, this follows that same type of development in the game where there's no actual end, but there are a lot of different goals and objectives that you can complete throughout the game, and you will eventually run out of those things to do. But after you have done those, there's still a lot more to do within the game's mechanisms that will allow you to continue to develop and play indefinitely as long as you're still having fun. And the whole narrative in this game is all based around the town of Mythwind, where players are going to be contributing in their own individual and asymmetric ways with the skills that they have to try and develop the town in the way that the players want. And those decisions are going to dictate what sort of opportunities and events that come up throughout the game, but that's also going to determine the narrative that unfolds because of it. So for example, if you made your town very industrial and efficient and all about making money, then that's going to open up a certain narrative path that may have been inaccessible otherwise. And as the players explore, they'll discover more about the magical world they're living in, as well as the other creatures that are there sharing the world with them. And as I mentioned, each character in this game is asymmetrical, but this goes well beyond just individual player powers or anything like that. And I think this is another area where this game innovates because each character is actually going to make the game feel a lot different. Each character will have their own little mini puzzle that comes along with them. For example, if you're the farmer, you're going to be tilling the fields and planting different crops. And you're going to be doing that with a little polyomino system where you're going to be trying to fit different crops into your field. Whereas if you're a different character, such as the builder, you're going to be more focused on bag building or some other mechanism. And another neat way that this game innovates and does things differently from most other games is that players can actually alternate the characters that they're playing as from game to game so that everyone can experience the different roles and the different mechanisms and the different opportunities that come up because of that. And each character will come with an associated miniature, and I really like the look of these minis. They're not in your typical action pose that I normally look for, but honestly I don't really think that suits this type of game, and I think that the direction they went here really sells the whimsical world that the players are living in, and they just did such a great job with all the little details that you can find on these minis. I also like to see games that don't have more minis than they need, and this one doesn't seem to overdo it at all, but it still provides a lot of variety with the minis that it does offer. So you're not going to have massive amounts of boxes on your shelf taking up a ton of space, paying for all the extra shipping, and producing all that extra plastic that the world doesn't really need right now. Definitely an interesting game here that innovates in a few different ways. It looks like the designers did a really excellent job here. And don't forget that I do have the link in the description below and you can go and click to get notified if this one interests you. And for those of you that really wanted an Animal Crossing or Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley board game, I think this one actually captures the feel of those games much better than even the Stardew Valley game does. So if you weren't able to grab that Stardew Valley board game, I think this one looks like a lot more fun personally. It looks way better designed, and I think it more accurately captures that feel that I think you would expect from that type of game. This is definitely one that I'm very interested in, and I'll be watching the campaign closely.